don't like the video, these stories could happen to you too. Istanbul was draped in an unnatural fog, thick and suffocating, muting the city sounds and turning streetlights into ghostly halos. In a modest, newly rented apartment, Karam, his wife Selma, and their teenage daughter Aylin were trying to settle into what should have been an ordinary life. But the house, silent and modern by day, had long been touched by darkness far older than any living memory, and it was awake. From the first night, subtle unease crept in. Shadows clung to corners more than natural, stretching unnaturally as if alive. A chill moved through the rooms, crawling along the floors and seeping into the walls. Selma noticed her reflection in the bathroom mirror, flickering oddly, edges twisting momentarily before returning to normal. Karam dismissed it as fatigue, but instinctively, all three felt a weight pressing on them, a gaze unseen, yet unbearable. The anomalies began small. Doors would creak even when shut tightly. Objects would shift slightly when no one was looking. Aylin's phone buzzed at odd hours with blank messages. When she opened them, a low, guttural voice hissed, "You have awakened me. Now, I am here," the apartment responded. Shadows stretched along walls and ceilings, coiling like serpents, forming grotesque shapes that seemed to leer at them. The temperature fluctuated violently, freezing cold one moment, stifling heat the next. Books slid across floors, chairs toppled violently. A lamp exploded, scattering shards inches from Karam's head. Aylin screamed when she saw a reflection twist into a hollow-eyed version of herself, whispering threats she could not understand. As days passed, the entity grew stronger, feeding on fear. Each night, the family faced horrors that defied rational explanation. Shadows seemed to move with intent, stretching to envelop them. Invisible hands clawed at their bodies, leaving bruises and deep welts. Selma was thrown repeatedly across rooms, hitting walls, her cries echoing through the apartment. Karam's chest felt crushed by an unseen force, leaving him gasping and disoriented. Electronic devices became instruments of terror. Phones, laptops, even smart appliances emitted whispers in guttural tones. Messages appeared on screens with cryptic symbols, some forming the shape of faces, twisted, leering, and alive. Every interaction, every click, fed the jinn's power, allowing it to manipulate reality itself. One night, the entity manifested fully through Aylin. Her voice alternated between childlike innocence and a monstrous, guttural tone. "Submit or perish. Resistance is meaningless." Objects hurled through the apartment, smashing against walls and floors. Shadows coiled around the family, pressing in with invisible weight. The air was thick, suffocating, each breath a struggle. The entity's presence intensified with every heartbeat, feeding off their terror, twisting the environment, bending reality. Karam sought help from a renowned imam. He arrived with candles, holy water, and sacred texts. From the moment he stepped inside, the apartment resisted violently. Shadows lunged and twisted around him, forming monstrous humanoid shapes with glowing red eyes. The jinn's guttural voice echoed through every corner. "You cannot stop me. I am everywhere. Inside you." The family discovered the source. Decades ago, a dark ritual had been performed in the house, summoning a powerful jinn. Technology and curiosity had reawakened it, Each device connected to the internet became a conduit. Every notification, a whisper feeding its malevolent consciousness. Time warped. Nights stretched endlessly. Sleep offered no refuge. Aylin floated above her bed, speaking in languages none could comprehend. Selma was thrown violently against walls. Karem convulsed as shadows coiled around him, whispering promises of eternal torment. The entity's attacks grew relentless, shadows twisted into grotesque faces. Some humanoid, some entirely alien. They reached from corners, ceilings, and beneath furniture. Lamps exploded, electronics emitted a high-pitched wail, and the walls seemed to pulse with malevolent intent. Each room became a battlefield of unseen forces, the family trapped in a nightmarish cycle of terror. Hours became days. The family's sanity frayed. Kiram attempted to recite prayers but found his voice failing. Selma tried to hold Aylin, but the girl's body was no longer fully her own, writhing as if controlled by a second presence. Every attempt to escape was thwarted. Doors refused to open, windows resisted, and the air thickened to the point of suffocation. In desperation, the Imam performed a final elaborate exorcism. Candles burned low, verses recited loudly, holy water sprinkled. The shadows surged violently, forming titanic forms, hissing, twisting, attempting to crush the family. The jinn shrieked, a sound deep and resonant enough to shake bones, echoing through walls and floors. Aylin screamed as her body became a vessel, her voice no longer human, echoing the entity's commands. Fear me, obey, your souls are mine. Finally, the family destroyed all connected devices and burned every trace of the ritual. The jinn's shriek faded, retreating into darkness. Exhausted, battered, terrified, they survived physically, but the scars, mental, emotional, and spiritual, would linger forever. Even after its retreat, the apartment remained cursed. Neighbors reported whispers, lights flickering, shadows moving independently. Any device connected to the internet seemed tainted. The family understood a terrifying truth. Some forces are patient, intelligent, and cruel. They wait in shadows, in technology, in the unseen spaces of reality, feeding on fear, biding their time for the next victim. The story of Dabbe 5 is a warning. The unseen is always watching, listening, plotting. Once awakened, such forces do not forgive. They linger, hungry, waiting for the moment curiosity or fear opens a door. Somewhere, unseen, the jinn watches, ready to strike again.
What waits behind the door, you'll discover in the next video.